Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to do the MCQ questions from our lessons. Few have been prepared, so we'll be sharing that, and gradually during revision times we'll be doing these MCQs. Right? Before starting a new topic, I would like to do a few questions that will help you in recapitulation of the lessons and also will guide you how to prepare for MCQs. You can take out your poem Childhood. Open your books Hornbill and you can take out the poem Childhood and we'll be doing small questions from Mother's Day and this the lesson that the play that we have done recently, Mother's Day and poem Childhood. So we'll be doing the MCQs of these two lessons, right? Remind yourself who is the poet of this particular poem. Let me share the screen also. Yes. If you see, what is the poem Childhood about? If you wish, you can answer. Okay? Shivang, Samriddhi, anyone can answer. Okay? Poets lost.
Poets lost childhood.
Very good. Poets lost childhood. Right? Okay. Now, after what age did the poet realize that he has lost his childhood? If you have kept the lines before yourself of the poem, you can make out very nicely. Yes,
11 years.
very good. Very,
11 years.
very good. What the poet could not find in the geography book. What were the things that the poet could not find in the geography book? Yes, Archit, Kevin,
Hell and heaven.
very good, very good.
Hell and heaven.
Yes, correct. What did the poet find out about hell and heaven? It was in sky, it was an imaginary place, or these places were imaginary. It doesn't exist, it was with God.
They are not what they seem to be.
Bida, I'm on question number 4. What did the poet find about hell and heaven? If you see the lines in the poem, you see that when was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day? So could not be. So B option is the answer here, right? Fine. Okay. What did the poet realize about adults? What did the poet realize about adults? That they are mature, they have to earn money, they are not what they seem to be, they are cunning. So,
C option.
very good. They are not what they seem to be. Very good. What are the adults? Why are the adults not what they seem to be? So we have got the answer of the previous question here. In the question only, why are the adults not what they seem to be? Because they talk and preach of love but do not act so. They are very shrewd, they are manipulative, they are double-faced. So, which option you will give the closest or will consider as the closest answer as per the lines of the poem?
Ma'am, A.
Very good. So, dear students, we need to prepare the lessons this way also. Okay? Apart from understanding the lesson, discussing the question answers, if I asked you in the beginning only, keep your book open. That will help you a lot in preparing this poem. What did the poet realize about his mind when he lost his childhood? When he had lost his childhood, what did he realize? That he can use it whatever way he wants. He's very intelligent. He's dumb. None of the above. If you see the lines, you'll get the answer very easily. Was it the day? Let me read for you. The poet says, second stanza. When did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not as they seem to be? Third stanza. When did my childhood go? Was it when I found my mind was really mine to use whichever way I choose? Producing thoughts that were not those of other people but my own and mine alone. Was that the way? So please check which option will go here.
A option.
Very good. Very good. What did the poet conclude about his lost childhood at the end of the poem? It went to another dimension. It went to some forgotten place. It moved away with time. It shifted to his younger sibling. What will be the option?
Ma'am, it moved
B.
away with time.
Beta, there's a line.
B.
B part. It went to some forgotten place. Last third line of the poem. Where did my childhood go? It went to some forgotten place. That's why it is very important, imperative to prepare some questions. If you're going to attempt MCQs in the exam, you need to prepare. Where could he see his childhood now? Last,
Ma'am, A.
very good. In an infant's face. Only in his memories, nowhere in other kids are wrong options. So in an infant's face. How we can justify this answer? That is hidden in an infant's face, that's all I know. The last two lines. So keeping the poem before you on the table where you are sitting and studying and concentrating on these few questions. What type of rhyme scheme is used in the poem Childhood? Children, if you see, the four lines are not there. So first two options will not go. There are 6 lines in the stanzas. The first 3 stanzas, there are 6 lines. So if we see the rhyme scheme, we consider majority part like 3 stanzas are of 6 lines. So what rhyme scheme do they have? We listen to the words go, 11, heaven, geography, be and day. If you see go, and then 11 and heaven, they are rhyming. So A, B, B, geography, B, day. What are these words, dear children? Let me explain you. I am speaking, reading out the last words of the first stanza. When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? So underline go, 11, heaven, geography, be and the day. So these 6 words, how they are rhymed with each other. Go is not rhyming with 11, but 11 is rhyming with heaven. So A, B, B, and then geography and B. So geography, B, they are rhyming with each other. So C, C, and then day. So this way, A, B, B, C, C, D. Right? Now if you see the last stanza, if the question had been, what is the rhyme scheme of the last stanza? It is of 4 lines, right? And go, place, face, and know. So A, B, B, A. But here, it's not asked in the question which stanza. So we have taken where 3 stanzas are of 6 lines and D option is the correct answer. These rhyming words you used to do in your junior classes when you were asked to write fill in the blanks with the rhyming words and all. So this is the same thing, but here we are coding them. We are giving them the codes A, B, B, like that. What is the poet, sorry, who is the poet of the poem Childhood? See, learn it right now and answer. Okay?
Marcus Nathan.
Very good. What is the meaning of the word seized? Seized. Which option? Yes.
Come to an end. B.
Come to an end. We have discussed. E. What is the opposite of the word hidden? We'll move fast now, little fast. What is the It's very simple, hidden. Which word you will give as the option? See, they are very simple, open, closed, partial, out. So hidden, closed will not go, partial will not go. Now there is a choice between open and out. Think and answer.
Open.
Will go. According to the poet, adults are smart, lovable, hypocrites, intelligent, and cunning.
A.
A.
Hypocrites.
Yes, we have discussed when we were reading, and there is a small explanation also that categorize the words with the stanzas in the NCRT book on page number, you can say 59, that identify the stanza that talks of each of the following: individuality, rationalism, and hypocrisy. So, hypocrites. What did the poet sense about himself when he realized he could use his own mind the way he wants? So, where will you find the answer? Like A option, which is the option. He sensed that he is as intelligent as his friends. He sensed his own individuality and a separate personality. He sensed that he is very smart. He sensed that he could use his mind in creative work. He sensed his own individuality, right? What refrain?
B.
You are saying for 15th question, beta? B.
Ma'am, B.
Is that we, Beta, we need to understand the stanza that we realized at a point that there is, his own individual thoughts. He's not dependent on what others guide him. Even he's talking of adults also there. So when he says, was it when I found my mind was really mine, to whichever way I choose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people. So this is your individual talents, hidden thoughts that are, you know, that create something, right? He sensed that he could use his mind in creative work. This is also the secondary option. But we'll go with he sensed his own individuality. First option will be this. What did the poet sense about himself when he realized he could lose his mind the way he wants? Right? He sensed his own individuality. He sensed he could be productive. What refrain literary device is used? Like what is a refrain? Repetition of a particular line or a phrase. So here the repetitive line is, when did my childhood go? And these lines in the poems are known as refrains. Right? Fine. So what is the refrain in the poem? What line is repeated? When did my childhood go? Hell and heaven could not be found in geography. That's all I know. So 3 times when did my childhood go has been repeated. Antithesis. Refrain is a literary device, children. Let me tell you before moving to the next question. Refrain, when if you see songs also after the stanza, there the same lines are repeated. If you see the poems and beautiful lyrics and all, you see those are refrains, right? So if this is in a poetry or particular line is like in a poem, we call it a refrain. The literary device is refrain, and the line, if it is asked as a question, we can answer. Now moving on to antithesis is where two opposite words are used together in a sentence in a poem. Where did the poet use it? You can answer very easily.
Hell and heaven.
Very good. What is the difference between an adult and a child? From these 4 options, it can be fourth also. You just check it. They can tell the difference between reality and fantasy. There's no difference in sense of intelligence. There is no difference, none of the above. Yes?
Option B.
None of the above. The difference between adults and children, according to the poem, is adults, they say something and they do something. They preach love and they do not follow that. Here in the options, it is not given. We are not talking of the intelligence of the adults and children. We are talking of that what they be, how they behave, what they do. So none of the above. Why do adults talk and preach of love but do not act lovingly? Because, now you answer from because. Because,
They are hypocrites.
very good. A answer, A option is the answer. What is the most important thing about being an adult? They have their own thoughts, they can earn money, they can talk to anyone they want, they preach. Who will give the answer?
They preach love.
Very good. Now, dear children, I hope you have understood these questions. Let us continue few more of Mother's Day. Who is the writer of the play Mother's Day? Now you check it and tell me. Okay? You check it from your book, learn it right now, and tell me the answer also. Okay? Now, is it A.J. Cronin? Is it William Wordsworth, Patrick Pringle, or J.B. Priestley? Who is there?
J.B. Priestley.
J.B. Priestley.
What does the play Mother's Day talk about? Status of the mother, status of the father, status of the children, status of the family, the society. Very easy answer. We have discussed n number.
Status of mother and family. Status of the mother and family.
Yes. How does the author describe Mrs. Fitzgerald? We have discussed yesterday only when we were discussing the character sketch. How does the author describe Mrs. Fitzgerald?
Both B and C.
Only two. Evil looking, dangerous bit, very harsh, hard features. Right? B option. Right? Even if it is mentioned deep voice, we can give both B and C. Just check the factual part. She had a deep voice. Yes, we can give B and C. Yes. Mrs. Fitzgerald, you are right. Mrs. Fitzgerald is a dash of Mrs. Pearson.
Neighbor.
Neighbor.
Wonderful having a real doctor, writer, fortune teller, chef next door. Yes.
Fortune teller.
Good. Where did Mrs. Fitzgerald learn to tell the future? The East. Is it right? The East? Twice or thrice it is mentioned in the lesson in the beginning. So, how does Mrs. Pearson describe her family members? Thoughtless and selfish, mindful, pleasant and helpful, and hardworking. Which one you will choose? Thoughtless and selfish. Okay? Kindly keep your audios off, dear children. Like when you are speaking, you can unmute yourself and speak. Okay. Have you understood these questions? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. And I hope these will help you in preparing for your lessons and exams also. How does Mrs. Pearson describe her family members? Moving after this, in what endeavor does Mrs. Fitzgerald help Mrs. Pearson? To see future, to make her family treat well, to run errands, none of the above. To run errands means to do small jobs. This was not the case. To make her family treat her well, right? How would you describe Mrs. Pearson? How would you describe Mrs. Pearson? Dominating, considerate, complaining, both B and C. She's considerate.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of complaint?
Complaining, complaining, you can make it complaining, okay? So is she complaining? We can't call her complaining. She was not complaining. It was her real problem that was required to be sorted out. But she was very, very considerate for her family. Very, very considerate. Right? Fine, so we'll go with the B option, like second option. It's given B and C, but it should be both 2 and 3 or like that. Right? So how does Mrs. Fitzgerald plan to help Mrs. Pearson? By swapping personalities with Mrs. Pearson. Right? Was this the solution being given? Mrs. Pearson was dash about Mrs. Fitzgerald's plan. Hesitant, excited, envious, sure. Which is the first word which is coming in our mind?
Hesitant.
Yes, very good. What is the first thing that Doris does as soon as she enters the house? You can answer it very easily.
Ask her mother to give her tea.
Yes. Ask her mother to iron her yellow silk was the second, thing. And even these factual MCQs, children, we can prepare. There are few MCQ questions which are based on recalling and remembering. Some MCQs and some questions you can say are based on understanding, right? And some are like analyzing. So these are few which can be revised and learnt also. Few are based on understanding, right? What makes Doris astounded as soon as she enters the house? The sight of her mother smoking, because the tea was not ready, because her mother was not there, none of the above. So because now you need to read the lines and find out what happened as soon as Doris entered the house. The sight of her mother smoking. This was with Mr. George, right? Okay, and the son. Because the tea was not ready, because her mother was not there, and none of the above. Yes, who's answering? Who will answer the 13th question?
The
The
sight of her
sight of
mother
her mother.
smoking.
Okay. Where was Doris headed for the night? Now we'll end here, children, and we'll continue more questions after this 14th question. Where was Doris headed for the night? She had to work overtime.
Going out with Charlie Spence.
Absolutely correct. That is the second option. Okay. Right? So we have done few MCQs that will definitely help you, children. And we'll be doing few more topics are left in our syllabus, note making, the lesson board, and one or two more. So we'll be continuing, keep attending your classes, keep on learning and growing. God bless you all. Let me take the attendance. Thank you.